And we're gonna do One Love first. Yeah, we're gonna be doing Godzilla and X Kong, The New Empire, and Bob Marley, One Love this evening. So yeah, I just finished One Love last night. I watched it with my wife, who is a big Bob Marley fan.
Mm-hmm.
She did not finish it with. I don't think she's gonna go back and finish it, but I don't think her interest is all the way there. Not gonna lie, I love Bob Marley's music. I've read, up on him, things like that. I've seen interviews. I'm not saying I know the man. I was really looking forward to this biopic.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't love it. It does not drill home enough for me. So it essentially, just so everybody knows, it's Bob Marley. Sort of starts from 1976 with his peace concert in Jamaica, and then him having, right before that happens, when he gets his assassination attempt, and then he goes in, does the concert, and then he has to leave Jamaica for fear of his life. And it's just about him kind of leading back towards, performing, becoming a bigger and bigger success, and leading back to him finally finding out he has cancer. And you get flashes of like his past, how he met his wife, him and his mother, who his father was, things like that. I love biopics. I especially love biopics of musical artists when they're done right.
Mm-hmm.
This was one, in my opinion, not that it was done wrong, but I put it on the level of like Bohemian Rhapsody for me, where it was like,
absolutely,
the music was really good.
Mm-hmm.
The performances were not bad. I didn't love it.
Mm-mm.
So well, share your feelings, man. What did you think about it?
So I agree with you, and I make the same comparison. I thought they kind of dropped the ball like they did with Queen. I just feel like they didn't put enough emphasis on just enough of who they are. Like, I wanted a proper biopic. So like for me, for instance, and if anyone's listening, like I think a good biopic is Love and Mercy, because I didn't know a lot about the Beach Boys or Brian Wilson. I thought that one was great. And this one just didn't. It just seemed like they just took little snippets of things, and they had a lot they could have done with the Bob Marley story, like a lot.
Yeah.
And they just kind of either skip past it real quick or just brought it up and that was it, and on to the next scene. And I just feel like this was just more of a cash grab to get all the Bob Marley fans to go see it because they love Bob Marley, and it just didn't live up to. I don't think it did him justice, in my opinion. I think it was kind of sad that they didn't pay him, I think, the dues that he deserves for his musical talent and who he was.
One thing that I'm a big fan of, and I really appreciate your words there and what you were saying, because I do agree wholeheartedly with what you said. And to add to that, one thing that I really do love, I like watching a lot of documentaries, concert films, stuff like that. I love learning about the artists almost more than I do their lives.
Mm-hmm.
So I watch a lot of interviews, things like that, especially like Bob Marley was one that I really enjoyed, because I love his message too. So always listen to him, and he's always quoted, and that's a big thing for me. When somebody's quoted a lot, I want to make sure they're quoted properly.
Mm-hmm.
So I tend to like look into people, and I have in the past. So what bugged me about the performance of Bob Marley by Kingsley Benadir, it was so morose. It was so depressed and sad, even during the interview scenes and this. But like, now I'm not going to say I knew Bob Marley and I know exactly how he was at all times ever, but pick a theme, but even like the footage of him you used in the end is vastly different than how this performance was during the movie.
Yeah.
Now I understand he was shot. I understand he's going through a lot. His wife was shot. Like it's a lot. I'm not taking anything away from that, but and then he gets the cancer. I'm not saying it has to be this amazing uplifting thing, but I feel like that's what Bob Marley was.
Yeah.
So I don't feel like it would have been any detriment to make it that uplifting thing, not this morose, like introspective look at the man, but this man and his message who didn't waver from who he was, loved life, wanted to talk about life, sing about it, have everybody sing with him. That's the movie I wanted to see. I wanted to go in there and just like through the whole thing, have Bob Marley's like positivity like radiate off that screen.
Right.
I didn't get that. I got a really sad, like sort of Bob Marley. That was kind of boring.
Yeah.
So like I said, the performances weren't bad. I don't blame anybody for the performances. I think that you're just doing, what the director wants and how it's written and such. So, well done performances. It's just not, I don't think it was interesting how this was portrayed personally. So, but, I think with the music and stuff like that, it's a middle of the road movie for me. And I think we both gave it a 3 out of 5.
Yeah.
I might even kick that back down to 2.5 personally. Even talking about it a little bit more, it's like really middle of the road. Like check it out or don't check it out. It's not that big of a deal.
Yeah.
I just don't think I miss it. But
you're not missing anything.
yeah, but I mean, like, listen, to each their own. So, like, check it out for yourself. You may see something that we didn't appreciate about that, and let's hear about it. So let's move on to the movie that I'm sure some of you are very interested to hear about, and I know I'm very interested to hear about Paul's take on this. I gave a bit of a review on it on our Godzilla show, episode 13 last night, but I'm not really touching on it. We will be doing an in-depth discussion about this franchise and this movie and where it brings us and where it could possibly go on that episode, on that show in a few weeks. But here's the review for it. So, and our ratings and stuff. But Paul, I want you to well, let's tell them what it was about.
It's about Godzilla and King Kong. No, I'm just
there you
kidding.
go. Actually, you know what? That's really all we need. That's all we need. Tell me what you thought.
I actually because a lot of the reviews I had gotten very light from you and a few others was just that it was fun. Which was a good enough review for me to begin with. I actually did enjoy this one. I wouldn't say it didn't seem like they kept the serious tone that they kept with the last 2 or 3 movies with this current Godzilla and King Kong. But I kind of enjoyed the funness of it and how they shot some of the scenes when they were fighting. I just forgot that creature's name.
Well, they had Shimu, who's the white lizard sort of thing, and then they had Scar.
Scar is the one I was thinking. Sorry.
Yeah, Scar was the other monkey.
But those scenes where they're both grouped together to fight, I thought they were pretty epic scenes, and I thought they were done right, and it kind of reminded me of like the earlier Godzilla movies. Just in how they look, because they look, I don't want to take away from it and say they look goofy, but they looked fun. Like it looked like kind of the older feel of the original Godzilla film. So I actually did enjoy it. I thought it was a lot of fun. I kind of enjoyed that they did a different tone, in my opinion, than, like I said, they did with the other 3. Even though I did enjoy the last 3, I thought the tone was a little more happy-ish, and then just them fighting. And I thought it was well done. I think that's one that everyone should go see, especially if you like the other ones. I don't think this is the one where you're like, man, I don't want to ever see Godzilla or King Kong again. Yeah. So I don't think they dropped the ball like Ghostbusters 2. So
yeah. You know what? I appreciate that. All right. So I get that. Good review. Appreciate that. I really did enjoy this movie. I enjoyed everything with and I call them kaiju. Fine, Titans. And I'm not being difficult saying they shouldn't call them Titans because this is the American version. It's fine, but I'm going kaiju on this. So if anybody gets mad about that, that's why. And for anybody who's not aware, I do host a Godzilla podcast over on the channel where we rewatch everything Godzilla and go through and talk about it. We just dropped episode 13 yesterday. And like we touched down on this movie, and the reason I say that is because that's where I'm gonna go really in depth. So like I do know what I'm talking about when I talk about Godzilla. So like somebody may be watching this clip or listening to this podcast later today and is like, well, how do you know who Godzilla is? The city's just wearing one of his shirts. Like, first of all, the shirt is available now over on snobsmerch.com. Secondly, cheap book. No, but seriously though, like it's, to me, this movie with the kaiju worked perfect. It was fun. It paid a lot of homage to the Showa era, which is the early days, the old school King Kong days. I think it's the most, and I'm not on any stretch of the imagination here, lighthearted of all of the Kong, of the Godzilla Kong movies that have been coming out in the legendary universe and the Monsterverse, as they call it. I don't think it's the worst. I had a good time with it. The worst part about this movie is the human element, which is sad because as I'm rewatching everything, and I've rewatched 2014, rewatched Skull Island, and rewatched Godzilla King of the Monsters and Godzilla versus Kong and Monarch Legacy of Monsters, Every one of those movies had a really good human element. Not great. Legacy of Monsters, in my opinion, is the absolute best human element we've gotten in Godzilla thus far. And I'm mad that they made this TV show, had us watch it 2-3 months ago, knowing it takes place years ago, and they didn't get together with them and somehow correlate or bring somebody in or something connected in some way with this movie, rather than give us what they gave us, which, great. The human element sucked. They were there as a plot device to kind of read the hieroglyphics that we couldn't understand, that we didn't really need read to us. They were there to fill all those little plot holes that, like, hey, his arm is hurt. What are we going to do? He'll never survive with his arm hurt like this. We got a glove. It's like, there's so many, but like I suspension of disbelief, because it's a Godzilla movie and I have seen so many Godzilla movies, and human element takes a lot of suspension of disbelief. A lot. This is a movie that's fun. This is a movie that's a good time. Don't worry about the human element. It kind of sucks that they ruined a couple of the human characters they've already established and set up as better as they were, but whatever. But they gave us Mothra, and I always love that. And one of the most adorable scenes of Mothra and Godzilla. So all I'm saying, this was a good one. I think it needs to be checked out in theaters. It's just that much fun. James is watching. Go check out his review of it too. He would love it. They add when the monsters are shouting at each other. I can't agree, but Adam, so go back and watch a movie. I think it's Godzilla Destroy All Monsters, and Godzilla goes up to Anguirus, who is one of his pals, another prehistoric monster, and he hears something going off in like Tokyo, and there's like aliens attacking, and he's like, Anguirus, go check that out. And it's done in such a comical way, in a bubble. I was like, so if you're gonna do that, but it's Japanese, so if you're gonna do that, that's how I want it. That's the captions I want for the monsters talking to each other. That would be funny. There was a lot of silliness to this movie too. Like Godzilla hates Kong. He hates Kong, and when he's just like, no, he tackles him. Oh my god, King Kong, he got through the ringer on this, but I would really like to see more. I had a good time with it, and listen, it's doing so well, it's gonna get more. I can't see it not. But our ratings for this season, 3.5 each. We were on the same page both times tonight.
Yes.
This is a good one for me. I say go check this out in theaters. And this actually plays to our earlier talk where we're saying lighthearted versus dark and horror. I think it even fits in mainstream movies. Like, if you're not giving us good movies, studios, like where you were getting really good stories, give us movies like this where it's fun spectacle. Like, if we're going out to the theater, like, I don't mind not having a great human element story as long as I'm getting stuff like this. So, and again, it's the same with the Fast movies and stuff like that. Yeah, Fast X, everybody was going crazy about how much it sucked. Even I thought it sucked, but it's still a Fast and Furious movie. I'm not expecting the world, man. like come on, like well, it just wasn't the same. As what? That's a franchise that reinvented itself like 17 times in 10 movies. Yeah. So I don't mind doing that. Like, even the Marvel movies, like, you're getting too highbrow. Just give us the spectacle. Just let us enjoy. Just have some fun. Dumb it down a little bit for us. Give us the hero's journey, and we'll have a good time. They just did it with Dune, and guess what? Master plan. It was wonderful. So I don't think we need to worry. But let's get into my mixed movie pick for tonight from 1954. It's a good thinker. It's a good a lot of movies are based on this, and it is Seven Samurai by Akira Kurosawa. Great film. I mean, if you haven't seen it, absolutely go check it out. I mean, we're talking Godzilla, which is also from 1954 and Japan. But this is probably one of the best movies to ever not just come out of that country, but ever be made. Magnificent Seven. You've seen all of those Westerns and other heroic movies where a small band of heroes may get together and defend the town. It's all comes from here, man. Seven Samurai does it perfectly. Go check it out. And it really makes you think. There's a lot of introspection into this movie about, can you redeem yourself? What does redemption look like for each person? And so much more. There's a lot of thinking, a lot of beauty to it. Absolutely just a great film. So every cinephile should go fall in love with this one, I say. So,
Heck yeah.
but that's our show. So I'm gonna skedaddle. I'm gonna thank our sponsor for this evening. Link down below, Shopify. Guys, go try them out. Get your free trial now, and you get your first month. You get a free trial for 7 days, and you get a first month for $1. Why not? Start your online business. Get an end to help you all the way through. Why not? And we have tons more ready to go. We're still on Noom, which is down below. They're offering right now online trial $10. I love Noom. Noom really helped. I thought it was great. And we have a ton more. So we'll be talking about that. We have a lot more sponsors. They're going to be signing up, so you'll be hearing from them. But make sure you're also joining up on our Discord. Link down below. We'd love to have you over there. We might be doing another selfie war coming up very soon, so you're going to want to be a part of that. Make sure you get in there. It's been a long time since one of those happened, but we'd love to have you. Go check out our Patreon. There's some fun stuff coming up. We have a brand new live show that may be coming to Patreon exclusive and Discord for a little while, but you're not going to want to miss it. That's for sure. But yeah, we'd love to have you, but you're not going to know what comes out unless you hit subscribe and hit that bell. So you can come with supporters and hang out with us, be part of the Snob Nation, join up on the Snob Society, and just generally be badass like the rest of us.